yeah, let's give a quick intro. So I'm building godot-playfab, which is a Godot add-on, Godot plugin for PlayFab, and I want to really integrate PlayFab into the Godot engine to make it accessible for every developer who wants to. PlayFab is a backend as a service platform from Microsoft. Full disclosure, I work at Microsoft. I consult in my day job. I consult AAA studios on cloud architecture and stuff and online services. So what it offers is a complete data and analytics solution, live ops capabilities, and multiplayer services. And super important and very basic things that are hard, like authentication, for example, with all the available platforms. So like with Steam or Xbox or Nintendo, whatever, you can use that. And you can like manage your players, even like on a publisher level, so basically across games with the master player account. Then we have a title player account, which is mapped to a specific game. And so you can like have friends list here, so you can have even files, data objects, characters, inventories, whatnot, right? So a lot of things. You can have like you can build shops, either like real money shops or and do payments as well. Handle this over there, so you can like attach the Google Play Store API, for example, to it very easily. And you can build here like in-game stores or real money stores if you're keen on doing that. There's also a way of reaching out to Azure proper in a way that you can like attach Azure functions, so you can run backend code. And then there is a lot of analytics built in. So for example, the title overview already, where you can get a lot of data already on your players. But there is even more, like the dashboards, where you can get a lot of insights. And if you want to go crazy, you can do like your own insights. So these are also pre-built things. You can also like do your own query in Azure Data Explorer that is integrated here. And if you really want to go crazy, you can export the data into like the Azure cloud and do wherever you want and do feed this into a real data analytics pipeline. Okay, this is just a quick overview. By the way, this is free up to 100,000 players. Completely free, except multiplayer servers, because there's actual VMs behind that, and PlayFab Party, which is the peer-to-peer solution, which I absolutely love. I have worked with this for a game that I'm helping launch, and it's just pure awesomeness. I love it, and it like has like audio, voice chat included, like it's like no effort to make this work. For example, in Unity, right? Just like integrate PlayFab Party and voice chat just works, right? Okay, so that's PlayFab, and I want to do a proper integration with that. So on one hand, it means an SDK. There is a C# SDK, but in Godot, I don't think everyone uses the C# version of Godot. It also has a much bigger binary size when downloading. And I really love the GD script language that comes with Godot. So I wanted to have this GD script native, basically. And I want to do a deep integration and also provide a great SDK, right? Which means a lot of like typed objects to make it a great developer experience for you as the developer. But I've realized this will take me quite some time, so I also introduced like arbitrary requests, so to say, that you can like just pass a dictionary and get back a dictionary for a request, and you can do everything by yourself in GD script. I will increase the API surface, I think, but I also quite quickly go into the direction where I actually do some integration in the Godot editor, so you can actually like also maintain your game from the editor. It's like you want to upload balancing variables, for example, right? Or manage them from the Godot editor. I think that is very valuable, and I want to provide this quite soon. Right now, I need to improve a little bit on documentation and the API surface. I need to make this a bit more coherent, I think you could say, and also provide some guidance. I will probably soon record some videos on how you can integrate godot-playfab in your game and how you can use it, because that was a request I've got from the community. Okay, good. But today we're gonna work on the Leaderboards API. But first I need, because it's been a couple of weeks since I worked on this, we're gonna look into this, into the draft pull request, so I get like a bit of an overview. I think I'm already starting to see. So just so you can quickly see this in the example project, login. This is all the data you get back from login. Already did statistics leaderboard. So I've done an example scene where there's a timer, how long you're waiting, and I'm now user one. I think waited 12 seconds. 12. So if it doesn't refresh right away, should I go back? Should be here, number one. 13 seconds actually. So yeah, that's done. Well, let's look at the API. We're in add-ons, godot-playfab. Where is it? Oh god, I really need to clean this up. Ah, that's what I thought last time, yeah. Exactly, that's what I thought last time. You gotta need to clean this up, so let's start with with the leaderboards folder. Okay, so usually in the PlayFab API, you have a request object and a response object that are defined, and yeah, what I've also built is a collection for the leaderboards, and which has leaderboard entries. Okay, so you can work with this a little bit nicer. Okay, so let's look into the scenes, the example scene. Let's show you a little bit. Oh, I actually want to do this here, because I think it's a much nicer editing experience in this code editor. Means statistics. So what you should always do is like you should connect the API. You should connect the API error signal to a handler, right? So if there's an error with the API, that you can handle this in the UI. So yeah, I'm just instantiating here the table, so to say, right? And handling the timer here, handling the stop waiting button. Here I start the timer. Yeah, so nothing fancy here. So when I press the stop waiting button, we stop the timer and we update the statistics. So this means we send the statistics update. So this is how you usually do a PlayFab request. You say PlayFab manager, which is a global object. Get the client here and call the update player statistics method with your statistics object. That one looks. So you have a statistic name, a value, and a version. Because leaderboards, or as it's also called statistics, they have like this basically, that's the key. So that could be your player name, a value attached to it, and you can also version this, right? So you can reset leaderboards, for example, right, every week or so. Good. To show you this in the PlayFab game manager. I'm waiting leaderboard here. Go back. Statistics name. The leaderboard name. Then we have now where on earth am I adding the player name? Somewhere I need to add the player name, which I'm obviously doing, but where do we get it? Funny. I think it's funny when you stop working for with something for some time, then you forget how things are being done. So, and that also shows a lot on how one needs to document this, right? Because in order to provide a great developer experience, it should be really clear for people how to use it. And that's also, like, if you don't do documentation, then you should at least do great examples. So I should probably add some comments here. Good. Okay. Update player statistics. Updates the value of one specific. That's great if you read your own documentation. Updates the value of one specific title, specific statistic for the user. So that's what I thought. It kind of in the background adds the player, right? Because the request is being sent in the context of the user. So PlayFab knows which player has sent this, right, and adds the name. Okay. Makes sense. Good. Okay, so in the end, what godot-playfab does is like it takes your requests, serializes the request objects, and sends them over as JSON to PlayFab. It receives back a JSON object and does deserialization back into GDScript objects, custom objects. I'm wondering what I'm still missing here in this implementation. So let's see. We've created an example scene to increase the score, to retrieve the leaderboard, and we want to implement new requests. So we need to add models and add request definitions. I think I already did that. So let's look at the REST API as well. Yeah, reference. That's where I want to go. Really need to bookmark this. I use this often. So okay. So we have a bug here. Interesting. Hello. Okay. Unfortunately, you missed milk and banana. Hello, hello. So what's PlayFab? Yeah, I did a quick summary of PlayFab before, but I'm happy to do this again. So PlayFab is a backend as a service platform built by Microsoft. And full disclosure, I work at Microsoft. I do this, do consulting for AAA game studios as a day job. And so PlayFab is this backend as a service platform that is free for up to 100,000 users, and it can give you like multiplayer features, live ops features, and data and analytics platform fully integrated. And you don't have to take care of a lot of things, right? So you can just use their API to integrate in your game. And I'm building godot-playfab to kind of make it easy for developers to use that, right? Because this is kind of my work hobby, because I love indie games, and I particularly love Godot engine and the community around it, and so I want to kind of give that ability to work with PlayFab for free um, in Godot games. Yeah, I hope. Basically, I figured already my next project in terms of multiplayer, because I worked a lot with peer-to-peer networking for a AAA game. Just recently in Unity, I had to integrate PlayFab Party. This is the PlayFab peer-to-peer solution, which can actually do peer-to-peer connectivity, but also relay, right? Which has a number of advantages. And it was so great an experience because it's first super easy to integrate, and it has basically voice chat working with no additional effort, just by integrating the SDK. I also wanted to recreate that experience in Godot, right? Because I think that would be super helpful to have that networking integrated, and voice chat and things like that. But that requires me to figure out how to do C++ and stuff. Question is, so is this given to you sort of a task by Microsoft, or is this just a side project of your own? It started as a side project. I did this like in my evenings because I love Godot and PlayFab, and I wanted to use it in my own game that I do on the side. And eventually I told my manager, look, I need to get the experience anyway, so I'm doing this as my work hobby now, and I'm also doing a stream every Friday and working on it. And yeah, my manager said, "Oh, that's a great idea. Let's do this." So, hi manager, if you're watching, but I think he's sleeping. He's in the US. Yeah, I'm also advocating for Godot internally quite a lot. So I hope good things are coming out of that. Okie dokie. Yeah, thanks for being active in chat. I love that. So give me all the questions you want. Right now, I'm working on the integration of the Leaderboards and Statistics API, and I kind of need to get my mind back on it because it was some weeks ago since I last touched it. Oh, really? No, a lot of streams. I think Lencio Spark used to stream a lot, but I think he's busy working on an actual game now. I talked to him a lot. Good lad. Yeah. Do you think so? I think Godot is pretty active in Europe, and I am in Europe. But let's face it, I think a lot of Godot hobby devs have other day jobs and they can only stream in the evening. And I'm very fortunate to have this, can handle this as my work hobby. Okay. Yeah, right. Bit turned. Oh yeah, it's data management. But so, data management, here we are. Oh, yeah. Bit hidden. I do specialize in multiplayer networking and online services, yes. So my official title is Gaming Solution Architect in the Gaming Cloud Technology Group. So we're kind of like a special operations team at Microsoft that helps like big ones implement like online services and multiplayer stuff. We're a small team, but maybe we're looking to hire someone soon in the EMEA region. Who knows? We're a pretty self-sufficient team, so everyone we're working together globally, but everyone is also like working basically on their own schedule and making their own decisions a lot of the time. Okay, get it. Where are we? Get leaderboard. That's what we have already. I think I'm gonna duplicate this real quick on my other screen so I can look at it on the side while I browse the Godot source code. Okay, so statistics. I'm a bit confused now, I'm sorry. Oh, here we go. Yeah, sure. Just ask again if I if I didn't answer anything, answer something that you asked. All right. Get title data, update player statistics. That is something we implemented. So this is one statistic update. This is confusing. What did I do here? Non-specific, title specific, statistic. Okay. So this is basically, I can use a collection of statistics to update here, and this is just one. Okay. And this will eventually call this one. I don't know. I've been doing this for a couple of months now. Check it out on GitHub. You'll probably see my statistics here. When my, I don't know. It was my first commit. Question. What did I? It's been a while. So, 21st of January. Half a year. Oh my god. So I think I need to get off into its own file eventually. Okay. Statistics and get leaderboard I have implemented. We'll look. At this, we have get leaderboard and we have the statistics. Okay, so let's do the following. Just copy this over so we get a better overview in the ticket. What we're actually doing. Oh no, I don't want all of this. Oh, oh nice. Oh, that's nice. We don't need no publisher data. Okay. This is statistics, leaderboard around player, get leaderboard, different leaderboard. Uh, Damn it. What's the split now? There's something. Hold on. Let's start over. I don't want this. Edit. This is interesting how it pastes it down here. Okay, I'm just gonna get rid of this whole thing. We have no table, I don't care. Just a list. We want to have leaderboard, statistics, user data. Then this. Okay, these are essentially the APIs that we want to integrate. Well, we get a better overview. We're doing this to get a better overview of what we've already done. Right. These. Cool beans. So now we can check off what we already implemented. So we have update player statistics and get leaderboard. Yep. So then I think as a next piece we're gonna do get player statistics versions, so we can get the versions for specific players so that we can actually query the latest version as well. So to implement that request. I'm sorry, I have hay fever, I think it is in English, so I might be turning away quite quickly so I can sneeze. Oh, only I have to stop at 3:30 Central European time. Because I need to go to the summer party of my daughter's school. Good. So introducing a new request. Get player statistic versions. So now I'll show you something really cool. We will put request here. Yeah, no problems with Windows 11 on Godot whatsoever. I think there were some initial problems, but they have been fixed. I'm also running the latest 3.5 release candidate. So this is where all the things have been fixed. There was some thing with Windows Terminal and stuff that did not work out really well because they changed the console host. Okay, new request. It's a statistics request. Version. This is something that is a bit problematic in the API. Because the naming scheme is not always super great. Because sometimes you have a request definition. There's request, and we have so I've also built this. It's a generator basically for class names, for objects. You can just paste this in and call it save direct, and it will put it in the models directory. Saved model to file path. The player statistics versions request. So I'm gonna move this a little bit. So we have that here. So we have to do still sometimes do some mapping, because object is not something that we can work with here. So what we do here is use a dictionary instead. Statistics name that just works. If we would have like a custom object for a specific property, we would need to do some mapping here. Don't have that. Maybe I can show this somewhere else. Yeah. Okay. We need to map this because there is no great. Oh, there was a notification. I didn't even realize there was a notification sound. Oh my god. When I moved the file, I'm sorry, I should probably turn down the desktop audio. Did that. I'm sorry for scaring you. Good. So we added this. We go back here, and here we're gonna actually implement the request. But first, I think we need to add the response object. And the player statistic version that is part of that collection, right? Brace yourself for another notification sound. Was it better? Okay, glad. Turn it down 24 decibel, and kind of sad you still hear it. If I turned it down so much. Yeah. Good. What's get player statistics version? Oh my god, there was this great keyword in GD script that basically says this does nothing here. What is it? So I can avoid the arrows here. I don't know what it was. Shit. Okay. So callback, and now we send the request data, which is a get player statistic kernel request. Root should do it. This at param, by the way, is kind of what I grasp will probably make it into Godot 4, so I'm already preparing for that. But it's also kind of nice because you can actually see this in the hints here in VS Code. We have that, and the callback is a function. There's a question, so this will sound like a dumb question. There are no dumb questions. But since this supports saying player info, does that mean that you can do real-time multiplayer stuff with it, like in Battle Royale games? With what I'm building right now, no. For this, so there are two ways of doing multiplayer with PlayFab. The one is traditional dedicated server things, right? So on PlayFab you can host a dedicated server that has a server executable running, and you would have to implement your own networking stack, right? PlayFab would only help you in kind of doing matchmaking and lobby. That's something you can do with this SDK, basically, with the REST API to some degree. And you can do server management, like allocating servers and stuff, also with the REST API. The binary networking protocol is something that you have to provide. Either it's provided by the engine, but you still usually have to build your own binary protocol. For peer-to-peer networking, PlayFab actually provides a C++ SDK to kind of implement this into your game, and that is actually a networking stack, right? You would still have your binary game protocol on top of it, but we would be handling networking, the networking things, right? Like connecting to servers and everything. That makes sense. And with any of that, you could do, say, Battle Royale games. Oh, I'm very sorry. Good. Okay. I thought you had some prior experience in doing this kind of game. So let's dive into this. I need to quickly turn off my screen because confidential stuff. I'm still here. I just need to open something that might be otherwise spoiling things. And I'm back. Back. Okay. So let's put up a die. So Okay, so first let's look at dedicated server. So you have your players. Those are clients, right? They all want to play together. And so what they do is they connect to a central server. That is usually done over the UDP protocol in games, right? Because it has, it's faster in simple words, right? But you can also drop network packages and so forth. So that's why in games there's usually something that is called reliable UDP, so kind of checking on whether the packages have arrived. TCP is another networking protocol that has all of this built in, but quite a bit more expensive, but it's also a lot safer. And this is what HTTP, for example, is based on. Most of the internet runs on TCP/IP basically. So in games we usually use UDP. So when you have a multiplayer game, there is basically the game running on the server, which is just a VM, another PC basically, that's running either in the cloud or in any data center or at your own home, right? It is a dedicated server. It runs the game usually without the UI and there is no player sitting in front of it, but it's simulating the game world. So whenever a player does an action, it simulates that action on its local PC, but at the same time sends over a command to the server and says, hey, I'm now walking in that direction, or I'm now shooting my gun, right? And the server takes that action, commits it basically to its local game world, and then sends out, hey, this player, let's call it player A, just fired his weapon, right? So they are simulating the same thing. If they see this player in their game, they would simulate the same thing. Otherwise, they would probably ignore it or not. They might simulate it but not display it, right? So that is what is usually called an authoritative server model, because if an actor does something that does not work because it just is implausible, right? On the simulated world, they can it will just disregard it, right? And it will override basically the data, the game world on this actor. Does this make sense for you? So the server always kind of sends also some updates. It's like, this is the new state of the game world, right? And if they're out of sync, the client will have to accept what the server sends, right? In a peer-to-peer world, those actors would just be talking to each other all the time. Right? So each character, each player, would be connected to each other player, right? And they would constantly send data to each other. Either they would broadcast a message or a world update to all the other players, or they would send direct messages. So this is what is called non-authoritative, right? Because you need to have a trust relationship between all of them, right? So this is a networking model that you can use in cooperational games, co-op games, like let's say in Valheim, for example, because you all play together, right? Whereas in like PUBG, for example, this is not going to work because they would cheat the fuck out of the game, right? Um, so this is why you work with a dedicated server, and even there, sometimes cheating is a problem, right? Because you can do like But what happened in Counter-Strike, for example, early days, is that that the sound would be rendered on all the clients, right? A player would step, right? Even if they wouldn't see the player, right? So hackers would kind of expose that and 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 kind of build wall hacks by displaying the sound, right? Where because the sound was encoded with the world coordinates, so they could like put a pointer on the map where the sound was originating, so they could also like animate the path of the player, and so this was a good cheating help. Question: but how will the game run if there's no central machine running the main game for the other players to connect? Everyone is simulating the game themselves, right? And they have to reach consensus on what the game state is, and that is your responsibility as the developer to achieve that. No one said it sounds complicated. It is complicated, I tell you that. So the faster the game, the more real time, the more complex it gets. Well, I wouldn't you call it that way, but conflict resolution is not an easy thing, right? So what you often do is you kind of say one is the master, right? And whatever they say in terms of world state, that's the law. I think pulling up the Valheim example again, I think that's what Valheim does, right? That they're using peer-to-peer networking, but one is actually the server, right? That is what I call non-authoritative dedicated server, or NATS. I was told I should not use NATS because in UK that means something. Yeah, but also in terms of Minecraft, it only makes sense when you play with your friends. The moment you have strangers on it, you might have griefers on it, right? And they can cheat and whatnot. Yeah. So Satisfactory, for example, would be another good candidate for peer-to-peer networking and non-authoritative dedicated service. Cool. Let's carry on. Really appreciate your questions. It's a good one. Yeah, actually, was maybe planning. Well, colleague and I were talking about doing a podcast on that, actually. There's actually a lot of resources out there explaining it. And yeah, you can go a long way and try it out a bit and learn about it. It's fun. So, okay, so now I'm a bit lost, so I apologize to everyone who is viewing the video on demand version of that. We'll probably put in some markers because it's might wanna jump that if you're just interested in the godot-playfab thing. Your marker. Thought you could do this somewhere. Never mind it. Figure it out later. Okay, so get player statistics version. We have the versions request. Get back. And default should have a statistics version update. Okay, have a good one, Milk and Banana. Thanks for stopping by. And thank you for following. Pass. Word I was looking. Don't keep sun incoming. Technically, I think it's a float. Because JSON, or double even? JSON, I think, does not support integers. Is there no double in GD script? Oh, please. Wait, double, basically. Oh, If we only had reflection. No, that doesn't make sense. Obviously, I could also look at the type of problem. Oh, just didn't save it. Good. So, the UI for now. Didn't write it, didn't it? It did. Just didn't display. Yeah. What funk? What's wrong here? Okay, we're just reusing that statistic name, and here we will have a result. The get player version. Whoop. Serializing that. In. It's a bit complicated, but there's no better way I've found. If you have a better idea, let me know immediately. But it's quite straightforward, I would say. Yeah. We're just putting a breakpoint here so we can inspect it for now. But I think this should be working now. Good. I don't want to do anything here. Could be good though. No. There we go. No, I missed that. Okay, we're not landing here. Why are we not landing here? Oh, we did land here. It just took a while. Where's my mind? Here, result dictionary. Cool. Wonderful. Okay, so let's do it. Where's that? Can I see this? Happening. Oops. To see it in the debugger, I don't know. Here's where I can see it in the debugger. What is going on? Why can't I see it? Very interesting. Need a few statistics because at some point I had this like reset every hour. So, you know what? We do this as onload. Like, so onload of the scene. We want to fetch the versions and then fetch the leaderboard for the latest version. That's what we can do. First, we fix the middle name of the button. And we're gonna commit this. The greatest spelling. I'm typing, by the way, with 2 fingers because I've never learned to type with 10-finger system. I'm still a somewhat decent programmer, I think. Sorry. It's just so much better over here. Oh, what? Oh, yeah, that's the new request. Yeah. Okay. Well, because I have the version hard-coded here, that's why I wanted to implement this next, because basically on start or on ready of that scene, this is the first thing that I want to do, is determine the most recent version, so we can actually query for the most recent version. So let's do this real quick. Give me 1 second, I need to check a message real quick. I think I might need to stop a little bit early because I got a work inquiry. But let's go on. Let's fetch the actual statistic version instead of hard coding it. So here we're gonna actually call the below instead of pressing the button. This in a minute. Leave it here. We actually need to yield. Wait for that to return. How did I do this? I'm not coding GDScript every day anymore, unfortunately. What other things to do? I need to look up some things here and then. So, because when you look at start again, we did some things similar. Because when we log in, I'm gonna wait. So I'm gonna cheat after this. Because that's, as you might have seen, we need to work asynchronously here, right? Because if you send a request, we cannot just like block the UI because the user will not appreciate that, right? So they will look at a frozen screen, right? So we need to kind of keep the animation going. That's why I use this. I kind of use this widget here. That's not the widget. I should put this loading screen in a widget. So I think that was login GD. On login pressed. Go progress. And I need something like that in code as a widget so I can just like use it. TC. I just copy this. But in fact, we need to show progress here again. Hide the progress. So, and here we also want to pull the latest version. So I wonder. Hmm, yeah. Would have been too nice if things work on first time. Huh. Yeah, I think the problem is that it doesn't get shown because it's not. but it does seem to work. I mean, it's good. Just good. Just the progress is not being shown. It's strange. I gotta look at this another time. I won't be boring you with them anymore. So I think I'm gonna call it a day for today because I need to do some work stuff still, unfortunately. So yeah, I'll see you next week. I'll hope I can. Ah, Suppose. Hi. I was just wrapping it up. Uh, I just implemented. Like, let me show what I just added. I think that's interesting for you. But so you get kind of a teaser on what you can watch. By the way, you need to jump ahead a little bit. If you watch the video on demand on Twitch, I need to, when I do export it for YouTube, I will cut the start because supposedly I had the wrong audio device selected, so yeah, you did see a lot. So when you log in, so this is the example app. Everyone who wants to implement this, please do look at the example app. It is in the root. If you check out, it's not in the package. If you download the package from itch.io or from the Godot asset library, this will not be included. But you can go to my GitHub and check out the full source. By the way, I'll show you something really cool. So go to the repository, or paste it in here, and you press the dot key on your keyboard, and you enter an online VS Code editor. How cool is that? And you can actually go through all of it. So in fact, I'll do it on my local instance though. So the example, if you look at the full tree, so the actual add-on is an add-ons godot-playfab. This is the add-on that you get from the package. So in the package you will only receive the add-ons folder with only this folder in it, right? The others will not be in it, and some of the like license and stuff will also be in the zip. But the example is essentially lives in here, right? And that is only something you can get from the repository. And so this is a full Godot project, so you can just load this into the Godot editor. It will look like this. And if you just launch it, then you will have this demo application. Okay? And this is how you can like see how I implement things and get some examples. And that's, I think, something Saposh you really want to look at. So do a login here. And so I'm working currently on implementing the API for statistics and leaderboard. I think that's something that you want. So I'm waiting here for Godot. Waiting since 7 seconds now. I am user 1. I already have the high score with 13 seconds. And what it does in the background, it actually retrieved the latest version of the statistics, and so the latest version number, and then queried for this leaderboard. And now when I stop waiting for Godot, then the leaderboard will be pushed. It's not updated yet, so if I go back, delete and waiting for Godot. Yeah, so that's kind of what we have today. I will call it a day today because I need to still do some work things. So I'm going to commit this all so you have this in the branch if you want to look at it. Good. White space. Right there. You need this. Mending is horrible in here as well. Commit, mend. What? What's that? God, I hate the Git tooling in here. Did it change it now? Yeah. Love my writer. So, if anyone wants to check this out, this is the draft pull request. Paste it in the chat. Is it possible to send a score to PlayFab and receive the position of that score from PlayFab? Kind of. So what do you I'm not sure if it's possible in one request. Let's check this out. But usually you would update the leaderboard and then get the leaderboard around player or get it for a specific player, right? So when we look at the API, let's have this linked here. So I've implemented those APIs. Player statistic version. This is something we just did. Get leaderboard around player or get it for a specific player. So I think that's what you want in terms of retrieving it back right away. Right? So give it a list of statistics that you want. And its versions. Then receive that back. Okay. Alright everyone. Thank you very much. That is not what I wanted. I need some kind of end screen. I don't know. Well, have a good weekend and see you next Friday when we continue work on godot-playfab. And do let me know if you want to hear about some other topics, because like for example we had some sections in it today where we talked about general multiplayer architecture. If you want to know more about that, let me know in the comments on YouTube, or let me know in chat, or let me know on Twitter what you want to hear. Right? A colleague of mine and I are also discussing whether we should potentially be doing a backend game dev podcast. If someone's interested in that, let me know. So, peace out, live long and prosper, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.